Hey folks, Shawn Plummer over at the Annuity Expert. In today's video, we're going to go over the top 10 worst places to buy your annuity from. Just a little history before we go into that top 10 list. I'm going into my 18th year of educating folks about annuities, selling annuities, both training from a financial advisor trainer standpoint and selling to consumer standpoint. So you're going to get some inside baseball tips here on how you should approach your purchase experience with annuities. So just to kind of reference why I'm bringing this up, an annuity is a commodity. It's a legal contract. You should be viewing an annuity like shopping for a new phone or a new car. Hey, what do I like? Comparing apples to apples. You know, what are the pros of this car or phone compared to this car or phone, right? What bell and whistle does this have? What terms do these have? What pro do I have here? Is this going to give me more income? Is this going to give me more upside? Is this going to give me more interest rate environment? So it's really about terms, conditions, bells, and whistles that you're comparing that to mold exactly what you want from your annuity. Okay, so these top 10 places can limit your selection, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll be able to know exactly what to do and where to go. So number one, direct-to-consumer annuity platforms. In the last couple of years, there's been these small insurance companies popping up, selling annuities direct-to-consumer. Their marketing pitch is, you save on annuity commission so we can provide you higher XYZ bell and whistle. And to be frank, your annuity is only as good as your company. And if we look at Canvas Annuity being an example, they are an extremely tiny company owned by a health insurance company called Puritan Life, which is a B-rated company. And there's so many annuity products out there today. I could count over 1,500 different annuity contracts in the United States. There's zero reason to be with a company that is less than an A- with AM Best. And here's the other kicker. Puritan Life, who owns Canvas, they've been around since the 60s. Why is it taking them this long to not get an A- or better rated company? So you want to be careful. Their staff is really, really slim. I'm going to guess 30 to 40 employees. And they've been around for 3 or 4 years. So if you're going to go with them, I would say I would be comfortable with a 3-year MYGA or a 5-year MYGA. Stay away from their SPIA, which we'll get into later on this list. The other one being Gainbridge. They're owned by Group 1001. They own a handful of insurance companies. Gainbridge is less than 10 years old. Their sister companies are A- rated companies. And they're not bad, but they're just small. I mean, they're real small. And they're owned by this Group 1001. And it's kind of a conflicting interest. They have all these companies that use annuity brokers or financial advisors, insurance agents, and then they have this one other company where they're like, hey, we're going to skirt the financial professionals and sell these separate annuities. I don't know how I don't feel real good about that, right? It's almost like talking out of both sides of your mouth. But anyway, my big beef with Gainbridge is they have it as annuity that claims that it's a taxable interest annuity. 18 years, I've never seen an annuity where it's not in a tax deferred status, and that you can withdraw it like a CD, or excuse me, you can have taxable interest like a CD and withdraw pre-59.5 without any sort of penalty from the IRS. And I've had consumers come to me in the last 2 to 3 years while interest rates are high, who are younger buyers, and they're like, hey, I can get this Gainbridge annuity and I can withdraw money from it and not get the 10% IRS early withdrawal penalty. And I'm like, will they put that in writing for you? And they will go back to Gainbridge, and Gainbridge says, we're not tax advisors. We can't give you any fine print. That is a massive red flag. You're going to use marketing materials and you're not going to tell how the sausage is made. I'd steer away from it. Okay. If you were going to go that route, like Canvas, 3-year, 5-year MYGA, I think you'd be all right. Okay. You're going to want to stay within your state's guarantee association's limits. For those of you who don't know what the state guarantee association is, it is kind of the insurance company's version of the FDIC, where if the company goes insolvent, they'll cover the guarantees up to a certain limit. Most of the time it's $250,000 like the FDIC. Sometimes it's more. You definitely want to check that. But if you're just dead set on getting an annuity from one of those platforms, split it up, do it under your state's, and every state's different, your state's limits. This way, if those two very small companies go insolvent, you're likely to be covered. Okay. Going on to the next one, big box advisory firms. I put a video out about the comparison of using a money manager versus an annuity for retirement distribution. You know what those big box firms are. They're on every corner. You see them in strip malls. You'll see them in work, life, what do you call them? Centers, they're everywhere. You see commercials on television. They sell the crappiest annuity products out there. Their MYGAs are lower interest rates. They sell SPIAs. So, and by the way, these big box advisory firms sell a lot of annuities. So they're not anti-annuity. It's just their products suck. I mean, they're either recommending SPIAs or annuitization or DIAs, which require you to give up control of your savings, or they'll put you in a MYGA that'll give you a lower interest rate environment. And those SPIAs and DIAs have lower payouts than what other annuities have that actually give you control of your money. Or even worse, they'll sell you a variable annuity and you'll pay 3 to 4 times in fees for something you could have gotten for a fraction of the cost, or no fees, right? So a lot of the folks the advisors that work at the big box advisory firms are kind of like, they're robots. They go in, they're trained a certain way. They have a certain way of investing. They have cookie cutter strategies, and they use cookie cutter annuities. So if you're interested in an annuity, you're likely to get a piss poor annuity product from them. So I would stay away from them. Next one, captive insurance agents. There's some companies out there. I mean, just State Farm, Liberty Mutual, New York Life is one. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Northwestern Mutual. These are all captive agents. They can only sell their products. They cannot sell any other products, and they're limited on what they can sell. And they almost always have lower income, lower interest rates environments, higher fees, more rigid constraints on the product. Yeah, it's just almost never a good methodology in buying an annuity from a captive insurance company. So if you're with an insurance company and you ask about an annuity, ask them if they're independent or captive. If they're captive, stay away. Next one, banks pushing low yield annuities or CDs without income strategies. Man, banks and credit unions, I will go into my bank, which is a very large bank, which I won't name here, and their advisors push hard on me getting a high yield savings account paying 0.9% on their money. And I should be moving all my personal savings over to them. And I'm like, if you're pushing this piece of crap interest rate for my savings and you're calling it high yield, imagine what they're going to offer for annuities. I just talked to a client last week that was recommended in an annuity in 2018 from their local bank, and they recommended them a B, not a B++, a B-rated company, one of the worst rated companies in the United States that sells annuities. And they find out it's not the annuity for them. They're kind of stuck on it. And they were sold, the advisor was sold, they sold the consumer, the person I talked to last week, a large bonus. Hey, you're going to get this huge bonus, but the upside potential long-term stunk. So My experience, most advisors in a bank or credit union are not educated, and they're pushed to sell certain products because the bank or credit union is wanting them to be pushing those particular products. So you're going to end up in a situation where, yeah, you might buy an annuity, but it might be lower income. It might be with a poor rated company. You may be sold on a bell and whistle. The other thing is they may get a huge commission off of it, and they may be selling based on commission-based thought process, which isn't ethical. Okay, so banks and credit unions, hardly ever a good place to buy an annuity. Online lead generation sites. If you go online, you're going to find us at the Annuity Expert, and there's a couple of websites out there that are legit annuity brokers, but a lot of the websites that you will see online, specifically advertisements, those aren't annuity brokerage firms. Those are lead generating firms portraying an annuity broker. Okay. So if you see an ad that says, hey, earn 9% a year, or get up to 30% bonus, or you're going to get guaranteed 8% a year for 10 years. Those are all lead generating sites. What they do is they take your information, then they have a call center, pick up the phone and call you 10 times a day until you pick up the phone. And then when you get on the phone with them, you realize that they're just a telemarketer. And then they take your information and they sell it to some random unvetted insurance agent or financial advisor, probably with little to no experience in annuities. And then those people are going to be hounding you 10 times a day until you sit down with them, because they paid a hefty fee for a lead that you clicked on when you were searching annuities online. So do yourself a favor. If it's an advertisement, don't click on it, because it's likely a lead generating firm. And that's a big thing with those things, is there's little to no vetting process. You could be, your financial information could be sold to somebody who just got their license and has little to no experience, and they're doing it to make a hefty commission. You can put yourself in a position where somebody's selling you a bonus for a bell and whistle, or because that person who bought the lead wants to get a hefty commission off of it, and they're looking at it as a transaction versus trying to help you out in finding the best product possible. So stay away from ads. Stay away from ads online. Look underneath ads. There's usually what's called organic search results. So it's just the Annuity Expert doesn't do any advertising online, and so like you'll find us in the organic search part of it. So we're not trying to bait and switch you with some sort of flashy advertising. We're just like, hey, here's our content, take it or leave it. And then contact us or not contact us, or use our tools without any sort of requirement to put in your email address or contact information, and we don't sell your information. So just go to Google, Yahoo, Bing, the Annuity Expert will pop up. What is the next one? Advisors recommending variable annuities for income and retirement. Oh man, if an advisor sells you a variable annuity for lifetime income, look elsewhere, because you're going to, not only are you going to be exposed to losing money, which I think if you're investing money anyway, you have that expectation, but you're going to pay 3 to 4% in fees for lifetime income when you could pay 1 or no fees with a fixed index annuity. And you're going to get a similar or better payout than you would with a variable annuity. So fixed index annuity, higher payout, I would say similar or higher payout at a fraction of the cost to you. And then you don't have to worry about losing money, and you get an opportunity at getting an above than average rate of return. What you give up with a variable annuity is you don't get all the upside, but after fees are equated, you're going to end up with a similar rate of return. And so, but if you're looking to invest, just go be in the market. Don't buy a variable annuity. Companies using engineered indexes with no real performance history. So this is the trend in the annuity world. A lot of the insurance companies are getting clever, not creative with their index strategy. So when you buy a fixed index annuity or a RELA, you're earning interest based on index performance. Okay, so when I say engineered, let's just say there might be the S&P 500. So you earn interest based on the true S&P 500's performance. You're not in the market. The insurance company is using that performance as a measuring stick to determine how much or how little interest you earn in any given year. Okay. Well, these insurance companies may have S&P 500, 15% volatility, BNP, they may add this mutation on the S&P 500. And what will happen is when you get an illustration, it'll show you like, oh, you're going to earn over 10% as an annual average. And I hate to break it to you. You may have some good years here and there, but you're not going to average 10+% a year with a fixed index annuity. It's not designed to do that. You could expect anywhere from net of fees and everything, 4 to 7% is a nice moderate window, conservative to moderate rate of return that you're going to earn on a fixed index annuity. Yes, you have better years. In one of my 3 annuities from 2020 to 2021, I got almost 24% rate of return from the S&P 500 at 55% participation rate. And I got to lock in that. I think it was like 23.74% interest that year, which, hey, that's not nothing, but to say that you're going to get all these for every year as an average or a median, you're going to be poorly disappointed. The other thing is they're basing these engineered indexes are basing it off of 2 things that are shallow information. Number one being that these indexes have only been around for a couple of years, but they're showing 10 to 30 years of performance using what's called back testing. So they're simulations. I wouldn't trust growing my account with something that hasn't been actually physically is not the word, but you know what I mean. It hasn't been around for 10 to 30 years, right? The second thing is the historicals are based on the last 10 to 30 years. Well, the last 15 years have been awesome. I mean, we've been on the highest tear with the S&P 500, NASDAQ, in, I think, American history, right? Are we going to duplicate that for the next 10 years? I don't think so. So if you get an illustration and it's showing you that you're going to earn 10+% a year as an average or median, I'd run away. The other rule of thumb that I use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Remember this. Keep it simple, stupid method. And that basically means stick to indexes that you can see on the 6:30 or 7 o'clock news every single day, or not every single day, but Monday through Friday when the markets are open. And that's usually the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and Dow Jones Industrial Average. You stick to those 3, you should be good to go. What's the next one on my list? Lower rated insurance companies. They're for long-term contracts specifically. Look, we have first off, the Annuity Expert. We're an annuity broker. We have the largest selection of annuity products in the United States. We're clocking in over 1,500 different annuity contracts. And let me tell you that there is little to no reason for you to buy an annuity under A- with AM Best. I would say little reason versus no reason. Little reason meaning there may be some niche products out there for a very niche scenario where there's one product that will solve a niche problem that no other annuity will solve. But in general, I would say 98% of the time, there is zero reason to go with a B-rated company. Okay. And if somebody pushes a B-rated company on you, pack your shit and run. Just don't talk to them no more. We're seeing some companies, if I'm comparing to banks and credit unions over the last 20 years, major insurance companies, I saw Aviva in like the 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s being bought up by Athene. And now this year, coincidentally, Atlantic Coast Life and Sentinel Security, which have been B++ rated insurance companies, sister companies owned by the same owner. They went from B++ in January down to B. And there's a couple of, and those are, I wouldn't say they've been major, but those have been kind of like a medium-sized insurance company. Like they're having issues. They're trying to get bought by another company right now. That's a big red flag. And then I see some of these smaller stragglers that are out there trying to get into the annuity game, and they're getting downgraded. A lot of these MYGA companies. So my rule of thumb is, going back to keep it simple, stupid. Company that's A- or better. The higher the rating, the better, obviously. And then look at the history. How long have they been around? Some of these insurance companies have been around for 50 to 100 years. That have maintained an A rating. You know, you look at a company like Puritan Life, going back to Canvas. They've been around since like I think 1964 or something like that. Like they haven't got their shit together in that long of time. They can't get their financials up to an A-. What's going on? Why does it take so long? When a company like Exonic or Ocean View came into the game, I'd say 5 years ago at A-. So they came into the annuity game at A- with AM Best, and now they're A. So they're doing the right things to get an A rating, right? So that's a positive sign that's a decent company, right? So anyway, next one. I would avoid advisors who avoid annuities entirely and push market-only portfolios. This goes back to the big box advisory firms. There are some advisors out there that manage money, assets under management only, and they steer people away from annuities. If any of you guys watch 60 Minutes, there is an advisory firm out of Washington that is notorious for putting up fear tactics in their advertisement against annuities because they want you to come into their office. And that particular owner has had stock in an annuity company, a major annuity company in the past. Little contradicting, right? Anyway, most financial advisors, they get paid a fee out of your pocket, good or bad markets, by managing your money. They don't make that much money from an annuity, and an annuity does their job for them. And a lot of times it does their income distribution for them, and they get paid a one-time minuscule commission. Okay. And if they don't have money in their portfolio managing it, they're not making money on a regular basis by charging you fees. So with anything, keep it simple, stupid. There are pros and there are cons to any type of investment or purchase, whether it's buying a toilet or investing money in the stock market. There are good, they're bad, and then they're ugly. And if they're not open-minded to annuities, that's a huge red flag, because right now annuities will pay higher income than managing money and income distribution. They will protect your assets in a volatile market. They don't charge you a fee for managing the account. And I don't know, if you're in retirement, not every problem they solve efficiently, but a lot of the problems that they solve are more efficient than a human being doing it. Let's see, DIY purchases directly from insurance carriers without broker guidance. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to the first one, the direct to consumers. There's a lot of armchair experts out there. You can see them all day long on forums. They think they know what they're talking about, but a lot of the information in the commentary is like circa 2005, 2007, 2008, like 15 to 20 years old. And when they put out their commentary on those forums, or YouTubers, there's a lot of YouTubers that give dated information. It's to scare you. It's either to scare you or they're just dumb. Like they haven't touched, filled, experienced an annuity in over a decade. And like anything, products evolve over time. So those are the worst places to go. And if you take that advice, so let's say you go to Reddit and you look at advice about annuities, and then you go buy an annuity, you are likely buying a worse basically a piss poor annuity product. So what that means is your bottom line, less income to you, poorly rated company, you were sold a bell and whistle because you saw it on a forum, or you get a lower interest rate or more constraints, or maybe there's a gotcha or gimmick in there that you weren't aware of because you don't know what you don't know. Okay. Next part, I'd stay away from SPIAs and DIAs. They're too rigid of constraints. SPIAs require you to give up all control over your money. You get a lower payout in most scenarios compared to a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit on a fixed or fixed index annuity. You don't earn interest, and the death benefit typically stinks too. So there are better solutions for that. DIAs, same thing. DIA is the future version of a SPIA. You give a lump sum of money to an insurance company today. At some point in the future, you get this fixed payout. Well, things can change between now and then, and you usually can't change your mind once you buy that. So, yeah, SPIAs and DIAs, anybody pushing a SPIA or a DIA, you should really be looking elsewhere. You should always stress test your options. If somebody presents you an annuity, you should always go and say, hey, can I get higher income? Could I get a better upside potential? Can I get more control? Can I get more liquidity? You should always be looking 2 to 3 places when purchasing an annuity. Okay. So those are the top, actually 11 worst places to buy an annuity. The best place to buy an annuity is an independent annuity broker. I know human nature or marketing tells you should buy an annuity from a financial advisor who's a fiduciary. I come across more fiduciaries that sell piss poor products to consumers. And even though that they say they have a fiduciary standard, it's not really in their interest because it pays less income, or you have to get income based on performance, or there's lower interest rates, or not as much upside potential. It's just the best place to buy an annuity is through an independent annuity broker. All they do is focus in on annuities. They have a larger selection. They can find the contract that best fits your situation. And you could go back and forth. That's the other thing. Like financial advisors and captive agents, like they are limited to what their employers let them sell. So if you go to a financial advisor, for example, they may only only sell like 10 annuity products compared to 1,500 plus with an annuity broker like the Annuity Expert. So independent annuity brokers are where you buy your annuities all day long. Okay. So you can check us out. If you have a comment, leave a comment, but please be specific. This way I can at least answer it accurately and get real specific about it, right? Go to your favorite search engine, Yahoo, Bing, type in the Annuity Expert, Google another one, or ChatGPT or whatever. Just type in the Annuity Expert, will show up. And then you could come here. We've got calculators. You can find the latest rates up here. And then if you search down here in the footer, you'll see annuity and insurance reviews. So if you're looking at a contract or a product, we've got a whole laundry list of carrier reviews and product reviews. So hope that answered your question. I know that this was long-winded, but it's just inside baseball tips that you need to know and what to avoid when buying in an annuity. Hope all is well. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video. See ya.